Hey there, beautiful people. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lindsay P, and if you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you've been here before, hey girl, hey, nice to see you again. Well, I'm not gonna do too much. We're gonna get right into this video because I feel like this is a word God has put on my heart and I really want to share it with you guys. So as you can see by the title, I'm really going to be focusing on the law of attraction, and if you are a Christian woman trying to find your way, navigate your goals, why you should probably be avoiding it. First, let me go ahead and put a disclaimer out there. I am not judging by any means anyone who does practice the law of attraction or uses that as a spiritual pillar of theirs. You are more than welcome to do whatever you see fit. It's your life, babe. But in my spiritual practice, it's just not something that I do. And I'm going to tell you guys how I kind of got to that final conclusion for myself. So, what is the law of attraction exactly? The definition is, the law of attraction is a philosophy suggesting that positive thoughts bring positive results into a person's life, while negative thoughts bring negative outcomes. It is based on the belief that thoughts are a form of energy, and a positive energy attracts success in all areas of life, including health, finance, and relationships. So that is the overall definition of the law of attraction, which in and of itself, I don't fully believe is not biblical, right? Like, God created this world with laws, you know, laws of physics, laws of gravity. We have certain laws to kind of govern the world that we live in. Again, in and of itself, I don't necessarily believe that it is a non-biblical truth. They're very similar to some biblical truths that we all already know, right? Proverbs 23 verse 7 lets us know, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So your thoughts definitely do play a part in your reality. I just think that there are some key things that the law of attraction really pushes people to focus on that then takes it from a biblical truth to a secular reality, if that makes any sense. When you hear these things alongside with the law of attraction, it's also manifestation, which again is another biblical concept. It's just now been twisted and turned into something else. So let's go ahead and take a look at the definition of manifesting, because I'm sure all over this platform, whether here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, many of you have seen a lot of your favorite influencers or creators talking about manifesting their life, manifesting their dream job, manifesting a relationship, manifesting financial resources. Everybody's manifesting everything, but what is it exactly? Manifesting is essentially bringing something tangible into your life through attraction and belief, i.e., if you think it, it will come. I want to tell you guys a little bit about how I got introduced to both of these concepts and how I pretty much almost got sucked into a lot of new age thinking and new age practices, all because I just was trying to better myself. I was trying to grow as a person, I was trying to elevate, I was trying to glow up, and as many of us are, and I came into both of these things. So let me give you guys a little bit of my experience with the law of attraction and why I am so grateful that God opened my eyes before I went head first, because that's definitely where your girl was going. Okay, so let's just start with how I kind of found out about the law of attraction and what kind of led me to there. So my personal development journey actually started when I was in my last year of grad school. I knew that I really did not want to go down the path of being a licensed social worker, which is what I was in school for, and I needed something else. So one of my colleagues and mentors and good friends, I won't mention his name because I haven't talked to him about it, but one of my mentors had actually taken a job in the financial service industry and really encouraged me to join the industry as well. I had no idea what I wanted to do, so I said, sure, I'll give it a try. So I take this internship, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that experience legit changed my life. It changed my perception, how I thought about things, what I imagined was possible for myself and my family, and it was life-changing. So the more time that I spent in that internship, and then eventually I did, you know, start my career in the financial services industry, the more I was introduced to this kind of thinking, you know, like life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. You know, what you think, you will attract. Those types of sayings. A lot of things of that nature were always being thrown around and used as motivational tools to help us really vision the type of life that we wanted and what that industry could provide us. That role really pushed me to kind of start pursuing my own personal development, my own personal growth. And so I started reading, you guys, like a ton of personal growth books. Anything and everything that was recommended to me, I read it. I was just a sponge soaking up all this knowledge, all this information, really just trying to better myself, right? Let's say like when I was first getting my toes in the water of self-help, everything was really surface level, right? Like I didn't really hear too much about the law of attraction, but I heard very similar things like, you know, if you think positive thoughts, positive things will come to you. And what you put out there is what you'll receive. Write your vision down, make vision boards, those types of things. The more and more I read, the more that type of advice kept showing up. It became repetitive. And in a lot of these books, you will find subtle hints of New Age teaching that feel really Christian-like. Really taking these kind of Christian-like fields and really feeling confident. Like, okay, you know, I'm walking the right path. This feels familiar. It feels comfortable. This has to be, I'm on the right path here. And then, I don't know which book, but some book really introduced me to the idea that's also going around now, which is the universe. So, put what you want out there in the universe, and the universe will give you what you ask for. You know, you are in charge of creating your own reality. Everything that happens to you is in your power. You can create the life that you want. You. The books went from almost generally motivational to really self-centered almost, and really started to make me feel like, wait a minute, all of these things feel Christian-like. They have the same messaging, but I don't hear God. Like, once I heard in that book, it was an audiobook I was listening to. I don't remember the exact one, but once I heard the author kind of encouraging you to do all the things that I was taught before, to visualize, to write down my goals, to meditate on my goals, to really, you know, act as if these things were happening, but to put that out into the universe and to ask the universe to give those things back to me, immediately in my spirit, it was like, something ain't right here. Something ain't right here. Why would I ask the universe to do anything for me? The universe is a created thing the same way that I am a created being. If we all are talking about the same God here, like, it just didn't make sense. Like, why would I ask the universe when I can just go to my Father in prayer and ask him? Because the enemy is trying to take God out of the equation. I feel as if the law of attraction, the way that it's been presented to us now, there is no mention of God. You know, there is no mention of him being the provision, of him being the one to lead your path, order your steps. It is what you want to create and what you can do for yourself. My issue with the law of attraction today is that it does not leave, it makes no room for God. If something positive happens to you, you take the credit, God gets no glory. And if something negative happens to you, it's your fault. That's a lot of pressure. And so before you put yourself in situations where you're practicing the law of attraction, just be mindful that you have a creator who loves you and cares about you and who literally created the entire universe. So anything that you ask can be given to you, which is taught in the law of attraction, but what they don't follow up is if it is in his will. The law of attraction leaves out the will of God. And a lot of times we want things for ourselves, and instead of taking those things, taking those desires to God, getting them sanctified, finding out if that's really what he wants for our life, we are just like, oh, no, I know what's best for me. God, I just need you to make it happen. Like, I just need you to co-sign this plan that I have. You want to be in control, and almost always, if you are attracting something into your life that is outside of the will of God, it is not what he wants for you, either it's not going to happen or he will allow you to have it, but his blessing and his covering will not be over your life. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't want anything that doesn't come with the covering and the blessing of God, because that's when you start to experience certain things. And let me tell y'all something. I know this ain't for everybody. There are some things that you can and will open up yourself to if you are operating outside of the covering of God. So yes, the law of attraction works. If you would like to practice it, I'm telling you right now, it works. But if you are receiving blessings that are outside of the will of God, you have to be cognizant of where those blessings are coming from. The enemy even tempted Christ himself, you know, saying that he is the ruler of this world. I can give you whatever you like if you bow down and worship me. So blessings can come from one or two places, and you can be attracting from a source that you're not really interested in dealing with. And people don't understand that when they are practicing the law of attraction outside of the will of God, outside of taking your desires to prayer and really meditating on them, you're pulling from a source that's not the source I think you want to be connected to. And so that's what I was so grateful that the Holy Spirit, after reading that book, really revealed that red flag to me and really had me doing a deep dive into, wait a minute, what am I consuming here? What am I taking in here? And it was really eye-opening. After reading that book and feeling spiritually distressed, I started to do my research on the law of attraction, and y'all, these New Age to Jesus stories that I ran into, oh my goodness, because of my cultural background, and I think just what God is revealing to me about my lineage on both sides, I am a very spiritually sensitive person. So I am so grateful that the Holy Spirit kind of put a stop to me going down that New Age path, because had he not, I know for a fact the things that I was hearing people recount on these testimonies would have been my reality, and maybe even worse, just because of how spiritually sensitive I am. So after the book, I just start really deep diving into this into the YouTube streets of New Age to Jesus, and just hearing people's stories about how they were introduced almost like baby steps into New Age, and then every level it just gets a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, like this never-ending cycle. And by the time you realize, oh, you know, I've gone too far, you have now opened yourself to multiple entities that have access to you, that are controlling your thoughts. You're hearing things, you're experiencing things that are spiritual, but you're experiencing them in the physical, and it's a very scary place to be. So I'm just really happy that I never got to that point, that God kind of pulled me out, because I know just spiritually how I work, the attacks would have been real. But that is what happens if you are operating outside of the will of God. You are opening up yourself to other presences. And so you need to be careful, because then when God comes with his grace and his glory and he tries to pull you out, you are now in a place where you got to go through that battle, right? It's not going to be easy. These entities have had access to you spiritually, and they're going to want to retain that access spiritually. So now you have to go through a season of spiritual attacks while God is pulling you out. And it seems harmless while we are, you know, scrolling on Instagram, and we see everyone's morning routines, and they're meditating, and they're, you know, stating their affirmations, which again, there's nothing wrong with affirmations as long as they're rooted in God. But it's when that becomes self-centered, and it no longer becomes about serving God, being in his will, and trying to bring him glory, you know, for the things that happen to in your life. That's when you gotta kind of have your blinders on. So I also want to talk about how the law of attraction mimics biblical truth, right? So we already talked about Proverbs 23 verse 7. So a man thinketh, so he is, right? What the New Age does is take spiritual truths and takes them out of context. When you look at a verse, it's really critical that you look at the verse before and after, so that you can have context. Maybe even read the full chapter, so that you understand in what realm God has given this instruction. So prior to that, it says, do not eat the bread of a man who thinks only about himself. And what is the law of attraction about you? what you want, what you can do for yourself, what you imagine your life to be, the reality that you want to create for yourself. Again, you. Do not eat the bread of a man who only thinks of himself. Do not have a desire for his fine food. For so a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. He says to you, this is after, right? So we got the verse before, this is the verse after. He says to you, eat and drink, but his heart is not with you. You will spit up the piece of the food you have eaten and waste your good words. I feel like the New Age to Jesus testimonies, if you guys haven't looked into them, that is exactly what happened. We're looking into the world, we're seeing what people who are not of God, people who are of the world, are creating for themselves amazing lives by practicing this law. And we say, I want a piece of that. I want to have that car. I want to live in this house. I want to be financially free, which again, in and of itself are not bad things, guys. Those are amazing things to want. But at whose table are you eating? Because where you're attracting these things from, their heart isn't really with you. It turns out to be not what you thought it was 99% of the time. But the law of attraction will take that one little verse that makes it convenient for it to be centered on you, right? So a man thinketh, so he is, and then flip that and say, so all you gotta do is think your reality. When there are provisions and teachings and rules that come before and after that verse that really should inform how we take that verse into context. Another common thing that we hear that mimics Christianity is ask and you shall receive. This name it and claim it prosperity gospel type of message, when that's not it. That's not the only thing that needs to happen in order for you to receive certain things into your life. John 4:14 and 15 says, we are sure that if we ask anything he wants us to have, he will hear us. So if God doesn't want you to have that man, girl, he ain't hearing you. If he doesn't want you to have that job, he's not hearing you. If he doesn't want you to move to that city, he's not hearing you. But we have to take time to go to God in prayer and ask, hey God, are you hearing me? Is this from you? If this is not from you, change my desires to match yours so that you could hear me. But the law of attraction doesn't teach that. It teaches ask and you shall receive. And you might receive it, but again, it'll be outside of the blessing and covering of God. If we are sure that he hears us when we ask, we can be sure that he will give us what we ask for. But again, the previous verse says, if we ask for what he wants us to have, we have to make sure that we are aligned with God's will, because that is the only way that you will be able to truly have joy and peace when you reach those milestones. Have you guys noticed that people manifest things and then they get them and they're still not happy? Like there's no joy, there's no peace in that blessing, and it's because you're manifesting something outside of God's will for you. You wanted to be in a relationship so bad that you manifested this man into your life, but now you're in the relationship, you're not happy, he's putting you down, you've lost yourself, there's no confidence, or you wanted to take this job so bad and now this job is causing you stress, you have anxiety, there's no peace in your life. When you are operating under the covenant of God, under the blessing of God, I promise you that when you get the blessings that you are asking and seeking for, they will come with so much peace that you have the freedom to actually enjoy them. And that's really what I want for you guys. That's why I'm making this video, because I want you guys to be cautious when dealing with the law of attraction, because yes, I think all of you guys deserve amazing lives, but under the covenant of God and his will for you. I want his will in your life, and I hope that you want his will in your life as well. And so I think that when you're asking for these things, you know, if that desire is put in your heart, if it's stirred up in your heart, it had to come from somewhere. Take some time. The first thing that you really want to do at this top of the year is spend some time in God's presence. Really ask him for, you know, guidance, and ask him to kind of weed out the things that aren't of him. because there's nothing worse than spending all this time trying to achieve this goal, manifest this goal, bring forth something into your life for it to be out of the will of God, and then that same thing you spent all this time building and working towards makes you miserable. Who wants that? Like, nobody wants that. What I think you should be doing instead is, you can still do the things, right? You can still journal, you can still do a vision board, write down your goals, take time to really think about your goals. But as you're doing that, I strongly recommend that you guys invite God in. I strongly recommend that you guys take it to him in prayer before you finalize and say, okay, this is what I want to accomplish this year, or this is what I want the next steps in my life to be. Really take time to get your vision and then take it to God and say, can you sanctify this? Remove whatever you need to remove, edit it, change it, and present it back to me in a way that's pleasing to you. And then execute on what God has given you in terms of your vision. And if you ask him for his vision, he will give it to you. Okay? Those who seek the Lord find him. He's not hiding from you. He will give you what it is that you're looking for. So I think that you should do that. And then once God gives you the vision, then you go and write your vision out, or make your vision board, or put your affirmations on the wall, whatever works for you, so that you have a constant reminder of the promises that God made for you. But he will also provide the provision to make those things happen. So I want to hear all about your goals. I want to hear all about what visions you guys have for 2022. I just really want to make sure that you guys are manifesting in the right way and tapping into the right source, so that when those visions do come to life, they're fruitful and you can enjoy them with peace of mind. So that's pretty much all that I have for you guys today. I do have a couple of references. While doing like research and stuff for this video, I came across a couple of really good videos, so I have them linked down below. If you really want to play-by-play on how to set goals, manifest, and just really walk by faith, Pastor Michael Todd with Transformation Church right now is doing an amazing series that has been such a blessing to me, called Crazier Faith. And he keeps the series up. They're not going to go anywhere, even though I'm sure by the time this video is posted, he would have moved on to something else. But I will have that series linked down below. And if you are just like, okay, all of this sounds good, but how do I actually do it? He gives practical steps that Christians can follow, make sure that they are in alignment with God's will whenever they have vision for their life. So I will have that linked down below as well. And I highly recommend you start from sermon number 1 all the way to, I don't know, child. He's doing like 3 months of this thing. So to the latest sermon, and just making sure that you're really, you know, taking heed to the steps that he's given you. That series has been very beneficial for me. So I will have that link down below for you all so you can check it out. With that being said, that's pretty much all that I have for you guys. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe should you have enjoyed this video. And that's it. I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. Smooches.